Alright guys, welcome back to my channel. Don't forget to subscribe and like and stay to the end of this video for a special surprise. Today's video is going to be a little get ready with me while I talk about elementary versus middle school. That is like my highly most requested video question is, how does teaching elementary compare to teaching middle school? Which one do I like better? What are the pros, cons, all the things. So we are going to talk about all of that while I get ready for my Teacher PLC Solution Tree Conference. So let's get into it. First off, a little bit of background information is that I taught 5th grade for 2 years and then taught 4th grade for 2 years, and this past year was my first year teaching middle school, 7th grade science to be exact. Alright, I have to start off by also saying that, okay, elementary has its pros and its cons, and middle school has its pros and its cons. So you just kind of have to find the grade level that works the best for you. Some pros of elementary school is that you have the kids all day long. So you have the same kids all day long, so you can build a really strong relationship with those students. Whereas in middle school, my class periods are only 46 minutes, so I see the kids every day, but I only have 46 minutes every day to build those relationships with students. So it's just a little bit harder personally to build those relationships. And in elementary, you only have like 20 to 30, maybe a little bit more students. And in middle school, I have 150, and some middle school teachers have even more than 150. And so, again, with those relationships, I feel like in middle school, it's just a little bit harder to build those relationships because you have so many kids to learn, to know, like, the first week, like getting to know all my students and their names was something that was kind of challenging for me. I'm not good with names in general already, and then having to learn 150 students' names was a challenge. You manage, you figure it out, you get to know the students, but it's just a little bit more challenging than in elementary school. In elementary school, also another pro is that elementary school is a little bit more flexible just with like the layout of the day, at least mine was. So we had subjects, that we had to teach at specific times for elementary school. But if, for instance, I didn't get something done in math, then I would just extend math, 5-10 more minutes to get that specific lesson done, or we would do something at the end of the day to kind of make up for that time that we lost. Whereas in middle school, you can't just extend your class period because once the bell rings, the kids are out. So if I don't get a lesson done, I have to push it to the next day, which isn't a big deal, but sometimes it is nice to have the lesson done all in one day. So you just kind of have to learn how to manage your time, and that is something I'm still learning, is how do I fit everything in the short class period that I do have. Something that I really do miss from elementary school is just recess, and also the classroom parties, things like that. We didn't do a lot of that in my middle school. We didn't have classroom parties, we didn't have recess, which I know some middle schools do have recess. And it would have been fun to have little parties and things like that. It's just harder in the middle school level to do it because they miss classes, whereas in elementary you take the last hour of your day to have this party, but in middle school, if you have an hour party at the end of the day, a lot of teachers get upset if students miss their class, or they don't have that class for that day, so they miss out on a day. And so our whole entire schedule kind of has to change because they want students to get to all of their classes for that day. So it's just a little bit harder to have that kind of fun at school, I guess I should say. We would have assemblies, but then we'd run a 2-hour late start schedule. So we have 2-hour late starts on Wednesdays. So that was a schedule students were familiar with. I enjoy the parties. I think that that's what makes school fun, so it kind of sucks when you don't get to do that kind of stuff anymore. Pros about middle school is that planning for a sub is so much easier than planning for a sub in elementary school. You have, well, like for instance me, I have one subject to plan for, and I just do that same thing 6 times for every single class period. I have a couple other things like my win time that I plan for and like my advisory that I plan for, but otherwise like it's basically the same thing over and over and over again. So it is so easy, so nice to plan for a sub. Another thing that I've noticed that I think is a pro is like the passing period. Yes, there are a lot of behaviors during that passing time, so like you kind of got to keep it short and sweet, but I do feel like students use that time to get up and move and socialize, and I feel like it's a nice little reset in between every class period. But passing times currently are 4 minutes. I think they might change next year, but currently they're 4 minutes, and so that gives students 4 minutes to kind of chit chat and regroup and get up and get moving and then hopefully be prepared for class. I think like students during that time hopefully go to the bathroom and get a drink. A lot of times they don't, but I mean, you just have to kind of set that expectation, like, okay, you just had a 4-minute passing time, so you should have went to the bathroom during that time. Like, is it an emergency? Do you need to go like right now during class, kind of a thing. Another pro for me specifically, I like the older kids a little bit better. I just feel like I don't see a lot of that little like childish behavior that I was seeing in the elementary level. Yes, there are still behaviors. The behaviors are still pretty similar to elementary, they're just in bigger bodies, but I'm not seeing like that little like childish behavior. And if you're a teacher, you know what I mean by that. Also a teacher that like doesn't like it when students are like constantly crying, or you know, they use crying as a way to like get what they want. Kids in middle school don't cry as much unless they're like actually upset about something, but then you know like, okay, they're actually upset. Like middle schoolers don't cry that much, so like I know I need to check in with the student because they're upset. Whereas in elementary school, like my students would just cry over everything sometimes. I think my makeup is done, so now we're gonna figure out what to do with the hair. I think I'm just gonna throw my hair in like this blue 4th of July claw clip from Andy Accessories. But, oh, I have another cute one. This is another cute 4th of July hair clip from Andy Accessories. But, okay, another pro I like for the middle school level is that you only spend 46 minutes per class period. Teachers, I know we're not technically supposed to have favorites, but we do have favorites. We have favorite students, favorite class periods, things like that. So in the middle school level, I had my, of course, some of my favorite class periods, and it was nice because I got to see that class period every single day. So like, for instance, if 3rd period was my favorite class period, then I would be like, oh, I get to see 3rd period next. Like, it's gonna make my day way better. Like, it kind of gives you something to like look forward to in a sense if you're looking forward to a specific class period. Or like if one class period is maybe like not your favorite, then you're like, okay, I just got to get through like 46 minutes with this class period, and then I have like my favorite class period, or the class period that is always talking, and things like that, because each class period is going to have a very different dynamic just with the dynamic of students that are in the class. But like I said, that 46 minutes doesn't give you a lot of time to build those relationships with that student. So yeah, I don't know, that 46 minutes kind of and getting them from class to class kind of has its pros and its cons. Personally, I like middle school better just because I feel like I can have more in-depth conversations with students. I also like the content that I'm teaching of science a lot, and I feel like I can have a lot of like science-related conversations with students because they are just more knowledgeable because they have more life experience. So I personally like the middle school level better just because I kind of like that age a little bit better than elementary school, but I am someone who likes the older kids, likes working with older kids. I don't prefer to work with the younger kids just because I don't know, like I've just never really liked working with younger kids. They want to hold your hands, but they're like snotty and I don't want to teach kids how to tie their shoe, go to the bathroom, wash their hands, things like that. That's not my jam. There are people that are good at that, and it's not me. So personally, middle school is more my jam than elementary school, but I also really, really liked the people that I worked with this year. I really liked the people I worked with at the elementary level too. Really love my administration that I had this past year at the middle school, and so that made a huge difference as well. I'm actually getting a new principal this next school year, or this coming school year, so it'll be a little bit of a change, so I'm excited but nervous about the change because I kind of moved to this school because I already knew the principal there and I knew that I liked him as a principal. So, I don't know. It's gonna be a new experience. I don't know. I feel like I tried to cover a lot. I'm actually done with my Get Ready With Me, so I could keep talking about this. So maybe I'll do another Get Ready With Me talking more about pros and cons, but I don't know. I love the middle school, and I think that it was like the perfect switch for me, and I have been so much happier. I personally feel like I'm still overstimulated when I get home. Don't get me wrong, middle schoolers are still overstimulating, but I feel like I'm not as overstimulated every single day like I was in the elementary level, just because the elementary level to me sometimes was chaotic. There was so much going on at one time, and the kids have so much energy. Middle schoolers have a lot of energy too, but I just feel like they're just more, okay, like calm, cool, collected, whereas elementary kids are sometimes like blah, 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 blah. So personally, I think middle school is more my jam, and I actually can come home after school and relax a little bit more. And I feel like in the elementary school I had a million things on my mind all day, every day. I still have a lot on my mind as a middle school teacher, but I just feel like it's a little bit less and it's a little bit more manageable personally. For me, everyone's gonna have their own opinion about what they like to teach better, but personally, I think middle school was the perfect switch for me, and I've absolutely loved it. And honestly, I've never been happier as a teacher, if I'm being completely honest. So let me know if you have any other questions, especially about the switch from elementary to middle school. I tried to answer a lot of them, but I feel like I could answer still so many more. So comment that down below. And if you stuck around, your surprise today is I want to treat some of you to a little coffee or a little sweet treat of your choice. So I just want you to comment down below your Venmo and what grade you teach, and yeah, I'll send some of you money for a little sweet treat or coffee to just start out your day great or end your day great, whatever you choose. But thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.